And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with another round of racing in Tier 1. This time it's round 7 we're at now. Championship Bell's really starting to shape up. We're starting to get down to the business end, and we're going to be able to see which drivers are going to get the job done when it matters. There's some notables back. Sleek had, I think, 2 weeks of absence there. He was back for the last race, but he's back again this race. And Sleek's going to be looking to try and make up anything that he lost while missing those 2 races. And we should be able to see some entertaining racing from him tonight. As Dino's going to be the first car to cross the line. So we're just going to sit on board with him, see what he can produce with this first bank lap. And we'll just go from there. A little bit of a recap on what went down last week and what the current situation is. This should be an interesting, although this in the past, especially with this league, we have had some chaotic races, but for the most part, usually pretty good. As last time out, we had Slick managed to get a win on his comeback, but something notable that isn't actually here this week. Tom N finishing P2 last week, one of the faster drivers of the tier, and he will not be here to try and get anything towards his championship this time round, as Charlie now is going to start his lap on the mediums. I'm expecting it to be a little bit slower than normal pace. I'd imagine tier 1 will be looking at maybe 41.5s, 41.6s, that sort of stuff, but be interesting what Charlie will produce and whether or not he's going to be competitive compared to the other drivers while on that medium compound. And if we will have probably that direct ref is behind him, as Dino should be the second across the line. It's 30.0 on sector 1. Nice and tidy for the start of sector 2 there. Making absolutely no mistakes, trying to use all of the tracks well. It's going to come down now. One of the fastest corners we have in F1. It's in the Podium. It's a small lift and then straight right back on the throttle, whole way around. That just demonstrates the sheer downforce that a lot of these modern F1 cars have. To have the ability to be able to take a corner like that flat out. I mean, pinnacle of it, look back a couple of years, were the W11. Obviously correct me if I'm wrong, it might have been the W10, but W11 was able to take it flat out, and that was shows how far the sport itself has come. Let's now come back on with Charlie going down towards the bus stop. Braking at the 100-meter board, nice and planted, as it hits both apexes there really nicely. Maybe leaves a little bit more to be used on the exit, but he goes across the line, and that's going to be a 42.3, as Dino sets 42.4, so that's interesting. It's Charlie Arc on the slower compound of tyres has actually gone faster, and someone else has gone faster. Jay Snowy has put an absolutely rapid banker. That's going to be a 141.4 as we ride on board with Phil to see if he can take anything out of this time. And that's going to be a 141.6. And that's going to be a front row lockout as of right now for the Haas outfit. As I think the Ferrari Mini Martin, I believe, is his first race here, because I don't particularly recognise that gamer tag. I'm going to ride on board with him as he starts his lap. And go into the onboard cameras, I think it's a lot better for the qualifying. This comes up Eau Rouge, one of the most iconic corners in F1, then down onto the Camel Straight. The top speeds can reach about 210. A lot of cars, especially with the setups, can reach 218 sometimes. I think the generalisation is about 215. Don't quote me. With a little bit of a lock up there from the Ferrari driver. He keeps it nice and tight through the white lines, but going to be leaving some time to be desired now as he comes through with his lap. As Arjun Kaiser has just set a lap group P6 142.7. As there's a couple of cars are all coming down towards bus stop now. I think some of them are on out laps. It'll be interesting what was it. Some of them are in lap. I think that's drivers have already set laps. As we come through sector 3, where it's been an alright lap so far. I'll be interested to see where he's gonna put it. It does not seem like it's going to be a pole lap, but it does still seem like a pretty solid lap, as Arjun Kaiser has actually gone into a wall off the back of the Kemmel Straight. He's going to be out this qualifying section. It's not really wanting to have the prematurely, as wow, Mini Martin has a massive moment on the final corner. I think he has actually validated his fast lap and this lap now. That's really unfortunate to be seeing that from the Ferrari driver. It's also not pleasant to have that time taken away from you. And Cornell's taking some interesting lines. Just going to double check if he was on the lap. Evidently not. But we're going to read it on board. I think Sleek. I think he is the next candidate. No, we're going to go with Ronald, who's going to cross the line before Sleek will, as he's doing his prep at the moment. I don't think we have anyone on a fast lap. Just hit that little lull in the session. So hopefully we'll have a lot of drivers come back out maybe 6-7 minutes time, start setting those final qualifying runs. And we'll be able to see what they can produce. But we've come on board with Runnard, breaking around the 150 meter board, as he's keeping it in third gear, right back down in the power on exit. Looks like he had a little bit of a wobble. We come up through Eau Rouge. He's using a lot of that inside curve. And he's keeping it nice and tidy now. As he's going to get the DRS wide open. That's going to give him about, I think it's 10 kilometers an hour extra down this Kemmel Straight, one of the longest straights we have in F1, as he's carrying a lot of speed. Has a lot of speed being carried in through that section by Runnard. He is going full attack mode, leaving absolutely nothing to be desired on that track, which also is what we love to see from the drivers, especially from the tier 1 drivers. Just showcase their ability every week, like some of the fastest people out there. Let's come down through Podium now. He's keeping nice and tight to the inside curb, which obviously some drivers not as comfortable doing, because if you touch that curb, it is a bit of a death wish. You can often end up in the wall, as doing a bit of an Antonio Giovinazzi. The car usually does not enjoy having an impact at that high speed. But as it comes down now, up on the run into the end of the lap, and it looks like it could be a really solid lap. And we're going to be keeping an eye out to see if he does get under that front row and they're able to disrupt the Haas's, as they are still currently sitting on a 1-2 through the bus stop, keep them nice and tight back down in the power, and that's going to be a 141.8. Not able to disrupt any of the Haas's, but that is a good banker lap. It's going to leave him P4, and it's only a 10th between Arde. He's 2 tenths off the fellow. Be interesting, but we'll go back down the Sleek Mover now, who is coming through to the second sector. Didn't quite catch his first sector as we were riding on board with Runnard. But Sleek he's going to be one to watch. He's one to watch every week. The guy is an alien, and he shows it with his lap times. As I'm just going to let you enjoy the last bit of this lap. It goes a little bit wide on the X of the bus stop there, but he's going to come home and bring a 141.1. It's a standard for Sleek Mover at this point. It's another rapid lap time, but as we look to the next driver on a push lap, Artie is not on the push laps, he hasn't validated. Ronald was already on his lap. Charlie on his first lap on the softs. His original lap of 1:42.2 was on the medium compound tyre. And what can he do with the faster compound? He comes across the line, that's going to be a 1:41.6, and that's P3 as he splits up the two Haas drivers. And I think Artie is starting to push that, getting a little bit too close for comfort with Runner there, who is actually on his way into the pits. I'm not really sure why Artie has decided he needs to get a move on that quickly. But there's no contact, so we are vibing still. As Snowy is also going to be starting a lap, so we'll be keeping an eye on the end of that lap. See if he can challenge Sleek for that top spot at the moment. That's a 30.060, as Artie has a massive moment. I'd imagine he might actually avoid this lap. Just watching for it to see if he can keep going. That's going to be a lot of time lost though. Actually, I think we're just going to jump on with Jay Snowy now, as he kind of low the speed now. It's a little bit the inside curve, it's not a necessity. Some drivers opt to take a more preferable wider line through that turn. I think it's really just driver preference. Keep the 5th gear through that section, so now we come down on the run in the pull-on. As this small lift and straight back on the power. I just keep it planted the whole way through. As I come up and brake the 50-meter board for this next corner. Keep them nice and tight to the inside, just making sure you can open up that next one. And I think he's going to invalidate it. Just had a bit too much of that inside curb. The car just got away from the tad, and that's left inches in that. That is going to be that lap time taken away from him. As Spenny sets the lap to go P7. We're on board with Jacob as he comes into the bus stop, but he invalidated. I was on board when he invalidated. Sometimes I lack brain cells, but we do. As Dino is not on the lap, he's 3.6 seconds down on his delta. I think there's too much on-track action at the moment in terms of hot laps. Everyone's all either on in-laps or they're just chilling in the pit lane, as they would be at this stage of the session. It's going to be interesting to see how this race is going to shape up, because qualifying already looking really, really competitive. Who have we got out on track? Looks like someone's coming out of the pit lane. It's an AlphaTauri, I think, anyway. No, he was probably going into the pits, that's what I've seen there. But it's just getting, it's getting very, very empty on track at the moment. And hopefully we'll get someone on the track soon. Get a bit of a lap to watch. I think Snowy's actually gone again. Snowy's on the ERS, so he must have gone for a recharge lap and went again after invalidating that first run. So he's going to be on a lot less fuel than I'd imagine the other drivers would be. But the thing is, if he decides to set this lap, then I don't think he's going to be able to get back around. So I'd imagine, has he run out of fuel? Yeah, he's run out of fuel. He must have just been pushing to try and get back into the pits and get back out. But I think we do have some movement in the pit lane. Actually, Snowy setting the lap. At a 1:41.3, it sounded like there was a little bit of throttle stutter coming down that back straight, but I'm not too sure what that would have been about. Because for sets to 41.3, it's not going to be enough to get up to where Sleek is. And you have to really wonder at that point, was it worth the extra lap? And the only thing I can imagine he might be doing is, if he's still out in track, he's not going to get back in to do another lap. But what he it interesting. Not quite sure meant to be doing that, but let's leave that one to the stewards. But as I was saying, what he might do is he might actually give Phil a little bit of a tow, because he's not going to get back to the pits and get back out unless, well, yeah, he'd have to be breaking track records to try and get in and out within the time frame. So is he going to give Phil that tow? So I don't really think he's not going to have enough fuel to actually give Phil a proper tow, but he might be able to give him just a little bit if he decides to play the team game. I think he might actually just be looking to get the pits. But Phil is a bit too far back to really feel the effects of any slipstream that he could get. So he's still got the ERS on. But we're going to ride on board as Phil starts his final run. A lot of drivers, something that really sort of separates a lot of the top drivers between the normal ones is on entry to quali laps, they tend to go a little bit wider. Obviously just try and get, it's not too much of a gain on the exit final corner a lot of the time, especially with a small straight like Spa, but any small gain is obviously could be the difference between pole and P2. In some cases, if you get a really competitive grid, as we tend to do sometimes, it could be the difference between a couple of positions, as Snowy is actually going to give Phil the tow, as he stayed within the white lines going around this time. Wasn't sure whether he's going to try and cut back in front and give Phil an extra slipstream. It's not a common tactic, but it is one that we have seen in, not in PAR, but it has been seen in other leagues before. As Phil is up in his time, but he wasn't up by much. It was only 400ths of a second. He's gone full picture too on there. He's sending everything he has into this lap. Taking a little bit more of the inside curve than he maybe would have wanted to there, but he does open up this next corner really nicely. And this corner is crucial to the lap. He gets a nice exit, and that's going to give him the best part. He could have got the entirety down the back strip and into the bus stop. As we look ahead, I think Sleek Mover was the last car to cross the line, which means he will get the best effects of the track evolution. It might not be much, but it could be what decides the pole. As we come through the bus stop with Phil, keep it nice and tight to one. It's going to be a 141.41. I think he actually lost a little bit of time in the end. As we look to the drivers behind, who have we got? We've got Spenny or Runnard. I don't know which Aston Martin it was because I sort of flashed over them briefly. But they have had a moment, and that's going to be their qualifying is over. A bit premature, and it's not going to be what they're wanted, especially in the academy battle at the moment between Merc and Ferrari. Charlie goes really wide into the bus stop, and that's going to cost him a lot of time, and he spins just the top of the wall. But if you look at Mini Martin, he's going to come through 2 seconds up on his delta, and that's a 141.3, and that sets up a provisional Ferrari 1-2. As we now look, the Dino Oaks coming through the bus stop, keep it nice and close to the apex, and he's going to get the power down out the final corner. 41.6, only enough for P6. Cornell's crossing the line, he's going to go into P3 of 41.3. Now back to the McLaren. P8 Runnard is going to set his lap. I think it's Cobb's about to cross the line in front of him, and Cobb goes P5. Runnard only P7, and Sleek Mover, what's he going to set? As he's not going to set anything apparently. I'm not too sure what's happened with Sleek Mover at the end there, but he is going to come into the pit lane. He might have had a moment. But I think Sleek would have known that his job was done. And it's a bit of excitement there at the end of that quali. And if the race is like the end of that quali, then we're shaping up to have quite the entertainment tonight. But as we do see so often at this point, Sleek Mover takes pole position and was in the end a Ferrari 1-2, as Mini Martin, I think on his PAR debut, comes through to take P2, only a tenth and a bit off of Sleek in P1, and there's only 100 separating P2 and P3. So go further down the order, we've got Snowy P4, Jacob in P5, Philo P6, Runner P7, Dino P8, Charlie P9, RD Moreno is in P10. That rounds off the top 10 for us at the moment. I think only 15 drivers raced tonight, so it's not amazing attendance, but it's still looking like it's going to be really competitive throughout the grid. As just before we get this underway, coming into this race, Sleek Mover is in P2 in the championship, but the gap coming out of China, only 3 points to Runnard. So Sleek is going to look to extend, stretch his legs right off start. He's going to want to try and secure as many points as he can tonight, but Runnard didn't have the best qualifying. He's down in P7. He is going to look to try and recover anything he can. Just try and get up onto the back of Sleek, and hopefully, if he can't win, at least have the damage limitation to keep that championship out alive. As I do apologise, I'm about to sneeze. We are just waiting now on the lights going out to start off this race. And then as well, the Ferrari 1-2 is going to be crucial in the constructors. As we now come onto the grid. And it's 5, but it's lights out and away we go. As the Ferraris both get good getaways, Sleek comes over to cover off his teammate. And the Ferraris maintain the 1-2. Jay Snowy in the P3. Cobb up in the P4. That's a great start for the McLaren. As you can see, Williams backs out just before Rouge. Thought he's going to try and stick it around the outside. But he thinks better of it. It's a bit of a map move to go for off start. And Mini Martin down the Camel Straight overtakes Sleek Mover, and that's in the P1. He's not wasting any time getting that race lead. I just contact behind, I think that's Jacob, as he's taking an inventive line now to come back on the track. Not sure that would have been the safest way to rejoin, but if you look at the back of the grid now, Dino Oaks has had a big moment, and DJ Bugs as well, I think, has had a bit of a spin. And that's not the start those drivers would have been hoping for. As we go back to the front, there's lots of action taking place. As there's the Haas behind Phil's looking for something into Podium. I don't think I actually quite catch it if he attempted a move through there. But he is going to be battling with Runnard. Runnard's still in P7. It's not the start he really would have been wanting to try and keep those championship hopes alive. As that calms down a little bit, all the cars still really, really close together. And what a start to the race we have had. As Mini Martin now, he's got that lead. He's got a 4/10 gap as some battles taking place at the backfield, but we will come to that. But Martin's going to be leading the Sleek down to Jason and then Cornell. What we haven't looked at is the tyres that the drivers have started on. And it's a bit of a split across the grid with Mini Martin and Snowy P13. They've opted for the softs. Cobb and P5 also opted for the softs, but everyone else in the top 10 apart from Charlie Art has all opted for the mediums. I'd imagine Charlie might have only went for the hards off start because he did use a set of mediums in the qualifying, whereas I don't think any of the other drivers did, as they wanted their mediums for the race. There's Mini Martin now leading this train down the straight. As we look down, Cryptic is battling Philo, and Cryptic clears Philo before the braking zone. And Phil seemed to get all of the battles at the moment, but he is losing some things. Cryptic gets all over that exit curve, nearly has a bit of a moment. Phil's go up the inside. And what a move from the Haas driver there. We don't see many overtakes happen through there, but that was certainly a well executed one. As we look at Jay Snowy, he's getting all over the back of Sleek Mover already. And the early stages of this race, we're seeing The gloves are off with everyone at the moment. They're getting their elbows out and they're getting... like, they're just battling extremely hard. A lot of time, usually, we see the drivers will opt to try and play the long game. They'll try and play their strategy. But I think with nature of Spa, they're just going to go at it. And we'll just be able to see who the best racer is rather than who the best driver as a whole is. But as Snake actually backs out from the two cars in front, nearly loses position to Cornell. I think actually went a little bit deep. He's going to lose out to Cobb, and that's Cobb up in the P4, and that's a decent start for him. Jace Stowe is going to be taking that P2. He's going to be very happy with his start. I'd imagine Cobb is going to try and put Sleek under pressure, but Cobb is down to just 20% now on his ERS. This early on, it is not really great to have that little ERS, especially Sleek Mover 92%. But I'd imagine if Cobb burns the pass, Sleek probably will not use any ERS, as he's going to want to maintain that advantage until his tyres start to come into play. Mini Martin burning as Jason Snowy takes the lead of this race with the DRS. Sleek Mover and Mini Martin, both the Scuderia fighting. And Sleek Mover comes out on top. And what move by Sleek on his teammate. Well, speaking of his teammate, Cobb actually gets a move on his teammate up the inside. And Cornell's going to look to try and sneak through there as well. Not successful this time, but he is just looking to capitalise on any of the scraps in front. Obviously, it's really good racecraft from Cornell, who, as of now, hasn't really looked like he's got insane pace, but he's keeping with everyone. He's looking just to make up whatever he can. As we look back in the front, we've got Jay Snowy in the lead, but he's got 8 attempts now to Sleek Mover, and if he can break that DRS, and Sleek's now going to burn, Jay Snowy isn't going to burn. I'd imagine if I were in the Haas driver situation, I'd probably be trying just to get the legs extended and try and break that DRS, because especially at a track like Spa, the DRS is crucial to fighting the drivers in front, because once you drop out of the DRS, it'd be like 7 tenths. Those big send from Cornell. He goes a little bit deep into the corner and he forces Jacob off, and actually forces, I think, Mini Martin off, although I don't think, well, I didn't quite see Mini Martin's like positioning in that corner, but I'm not sure if he was really warranted the space on the outside there. There's actually a bit flashbacks there to an incident we had yesterday between Asteroid and the Tier 2 Ferrari of Silent Pistol. But as Mini Martin now, he's got 3 seconds of time penalties, and it's going to be the second driver now to get a 3 seconds. But it's quite a hard track for keeping it within the white lines for a lot of drivers sometimes. A Sleek Mover is up into the lead, and he's going to maintain that lead now. But as we look back down to some of the other battles taking place further down, Cobb is in the thick of it all at the moment. Was running P4, he's got caught up a little bit in contact, and now he's going to be down into P6. He's going to try and just recover everything he's lost so far, but he is only in 20% DRS. I think he's the lowest of all of the top 5. Well, in top 5, but he's not in the top 5. He is the lowest ERS out of all of the top 10, and he's going to have to pick, I'd say, about 5 laps time. Because those softs, they tend to die off quite quickly. I think he can, if he feels like it, he can maybe extend it about 10 laps, but I'm not really sure if that would really be in his best interest, as those tyres will die off. As already the other McLaren driver has now picked up 3 seconds, and Jay Snowy actually picked up a 3 second as well, and that's going to be crucial in deciding the battle for a lead. As we look down into the bus stop, see if any moves are being made, as Cobb looks for one, doesn't quite get it pulled off. And there's a lot of position changes, as Cobb has lost out massively going for that move. He's lost 2 positions, and Philo says thank you very much, picks up the scraps there. As the Red Bull behind, Arsene Kaiser goes for a massive send. And I think he actually got the McLaren there. As he does, he gets the McLaren of Jacob, he's not going to back out without a fight, and he's going to go round the outside of Rouge. He makes it stick. And what a move from the McLaren. I've seen both of these 2 drivers putting on a show for the stream. As come down to Kemmel Straight, and that's going to be Aston Martin of Spenny. I see the 2 in the 1 at the end of Sector 1. And that's going to be massive for the Aston Martin drivers race. As Michelle's behind, and that's going to be Arjun, actually, there's a little bit of contact. I don't know if he got clipped by Spenny or caught maybe in that battle. Must have shamed to have seen that end that way for Arjan, and now he's going to have to get his head down and try and get back into this race. But as we now look back towards the front, Snowy has got back in the lead. I did not catch that last lap as I was a bit focused on the on-track battles behind. But Sleek, obviously, he's not going to be too fussed about trying to get past him at the moment. He's going to try and keep the DRS. Keep that ERS advantage, and more importantly, just keep within that 3-second gap. If he can keep it nice and smooth to the end, that's all he's going to need to do to win this race. Was it behind Charlie Ark? I think is burning a little bit. He might look for a move on Cryptic into the bus stop. It's going to be 2 tenths back. If he goes for it, it's going to be opportunistic, but it has been done before. He does not go for the send into the bus stop this time, but is he going to set himself up to go for a move into turn 1? It's not going to be close enough, I don't think, this time round, but I'd imagine he's going to give a little bit of a push onto the main straight to try and get that position secured. But as we look back towards the front, Cryptic is quite close behind Ronard, who is... So Cryptic's also going to have that pressure from Charlie Ark behind on the hards, and Charlie Ark, he was a bit of an outlier in terms of strategy, but he is going to be... like, his tyres will now hopefully start coming into play for him. You can see him looking to make those moves to get further up the field. As look back in front, Jason Oya and Sleek Mover have exchanged the lead again, and that's looking like it's going to shape up to be a race-long battle. Both the McLarens now, P8 and P9. Artie has made a pit stop. No, he hasn't. I don't know what I'm saying. But Artie on the hard tyres. Jacob's tyres, soft, they're going to be dying out at this stage. I'd imagine it'd be best for a team if they implemented some sort of team orders here and Artie were to be let through, especially as he's going to be under pressure now from Spenny and the Aston Martin. Caught up in a few incidents in the start of the race, but Spenny, decent driver on his day, he has demonstrated he can have really, really good pace. I assume we're going to see that as he looks to recover what he lost in that first couple of laps, as he was caught up in a bit of contact, I believe. And he especially had that little bit of a spin at the end of qualifying, wouldn't be what he was hoping for. But I was right on board with Cryptic, as there's a massive, massive battle for him. And I've just got 5 cars now in this DRS train. There's just not going to be any moves in the turn 1 here. But if we look further back, Artie's going to think better of looking for that move in the turn 1 as well. As a lot of drivers, they're playing it smart. They're not going for too many moves in the turn 1. They're just waiting it out to see if they can get that DRS benefit on the straight and pass their opponents there. Which obviously it's going to save a lot for their tyres. It's also going to save a little bit for the ERS, I would imagine. But as we look in front, Cryptic's going to look to go up the inside. He sends it, keeps it nice and clean, and that's up past Runnard, his academy teammate. Not directly teammates, but they will still have that element of teamwork, I would imagine. As Cryptic now is going to be on the back of Cornell, as Ferrari Academy are going to be very happy with the fact they have that one. There's an instant behind, and I can't quite see who it is. Yeah, I'm not too sure who actually spun there, but there was yellows behind, and that's been a massive gap between the McLarens and the rest of the ERS train now. That's going to be 3 seconds between Artie and Phil. I think Jacob might have been the one to have a moment there, as he was ahead of Artie last lap. He's now behind his teammate. He's behind Spenny. I imagine if there has been an incident, we'll probably be able to see it come up in the stewards room after the race. But we'll be keeping an eye on that one, because I'm actually very curious of what has taken place. As around about Charlie Ark, he's going to be very, very close to the rear end of Runner. He's going to look to the inside. And he's late in the brakes. Runner also late in the brakes, but not as late as Charlie. And oh, there's a little bit of contact. I think Charlie might have... Charlie probably should have left Runner a little bit more space on that corner entry. But both drivers are continuing on. I'd imagine they're going to bring it up the stewards. But what we'd love to see is they're both going to just continue on and just keep producing some hard racing for the stream. Because in front again, Cryptic, 4 attempts now, the gap between him and Cornell. He's going to clear Cornell quite easily, but someone who might not be able to clear the driver in front as easily, it's going to be Philo. As it's behind 3-car battle, Charlie Arc's going to be up the inside. This time with Runners, he makes it stick. Runners still trying to keep that front wing up the inside. He goes for a switchback. Is he going to make a stick? He's going to be earlier on the brakes in this next corner. And that was nearly an amazing move, but the amazing move has actually been made from Phil. What a move around the outside on Runners, and that is massive. And that's twice now we've seen Phil make moves through Ravage, and it's becoming clear where Phil's favourite corner of this track is. And that's some amazing racecraft he's demonstrating in the early parts of this race. Sleek and Snowy have, I think, exchanged leads again in that lap, but they are both just pulling away massively. 1.6 the gap between three, although Cryptic, he is gaining, he is rapid at the moment. Especially, he's going to gain a lot on Snowy. And it's going to be interesting to see, with the DRS, Snowy's going to be able to keep with Sleek Mover a little bit longer than most drivers would. But once these the tyres are going to hit a cliff, and I don't think the DRS is going to be able to save them. So it's going to be interesting to see when we're going to see the first strategy pit stops from the soft runners, as Arjun has actually pit, but I think he might have had a little bit of damage as he is a good way back. He's right on board with Phil. He's going to be all over the back of Charlie Art now, coming up in the Eau Rouge. He has to have a little bit of a lift off the throttle as he just had so much overspeeding in the corner. But on the Kelm Straight, he's going to get the DRS wide open. And I think he's going to clear Charlie before the braking zone, but Charlie's going to cut across as he's going to be feeling a little bit of pressure from Runners. Runner not able to be close enough to execute a move this time round. But Runner will be trying to get back and get that revenge on Charlie Art for getting that move done in the last lap. As Phil now, he's got 5 attempts at Charlie Arc after he made the move and Runner last lap. He's cut through Charlie Arc this lap, and Phil's putting on a massive drive for us at the moment. And hopefully he keeps it up. Like at this, if he keeps going the way he's going, we could see him fighting for the podium spots at the end of the race. That's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that. He could be able to bring home some massive points for the Haas outfit. As we look back to the front, Sleek still got that ERS advantage, and he's got the car advantage, he's also got the penalty advantage, and all the cars right now are really in Sleek's favour. But it's going to be a little bit of a battle behind as Spenny and Cobb are going to battle. Spenny has got past him onto the back straight. Cobb has... What am I watching? I don't know if Cobb is trying to cause a safety car or what's happened there. Has it... Like, he's not had a puncture. Yeah, I'm really not sure what happened there. But he's crashed, he's gone in and retired in the pits. But actually missed a miss due to Cobb having whatever was going on at the back there. Snowy has pit, and someone else actually pit earlier in the race I didn't know. Mini Martin had actually made a pit stop with the mediums. I think he's starting hard, he's starting soft, he must have been caught in an instant, and he's going to be flashing, and he's going to be put under mass pressure. Snowy's going to clear him before the braking zone, but now it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to keep an eye on Snowy, and we're going to be able to see how powerful the undercut really is going to be at the pass. And what a battle shaping up behind. Dynamokes makes a really nice move there on Mini Martin, who's really not liking those medium tyres. He's coming under pressure from a lot of drivers, and that's another position lost in the matter of corners. And his race seems to be flat, just diminishing before his eyes. I missed that lap. Charlie Arc has got back in the P4 past Phil, but more importantly for the race as a whole, Charlie Arc now in the DRS of Cornell in front, who is still with Sleek. Well, not Sleek, Cryptic, I mean. But it's we're going to sit behind, but we're going to have to keep an eye on whether Sleek is going to go into the pit lane. As Cornell, is he going to look at the move into the boss stop? He backs out, he thinks better of it. And all these drivers almost in a procession. As there's been an instant little bit of contact between Charlie Arc and Cornell. as Cornell's going to use that ERS, and he's going to use the DRS to try and keep that advantage. Phil picks up the scraps of that fight, gets past Charlie Ark, and he's going to be back right down the throttle. A nice exit, but not as good as Cornell in front. I was going to try and maybe get a little bit of a burn down this Camel strip. And he's able to see if he can try and get Cornell this lap. But Cornell, his sights are not going to be behind him. He's going to be looking at the Mercedes in front as he moves to the inside. And, oh, Cryptic really late in the brakes. Both drive side by side. This is really tricky, complex to go through, especially through the... Oh, and there's into behind in Lecom. As I think Spenny's had an incident with Artie Moreno. And Cornell has actually got Cryptic and missed that just as there's an instant. As a shame, I actually think that was a really good move. And I have unfortunately not got that on screen. My apologies to all the viewers that probably would have wanted to see that. But as we look back on board, Phil is now all over the rear diffuser of the Mercedes in front of him. And he's looking to bring through some massive points for the Ferrari Academy at the moment. Thought he was going to look for a little bit of a move there, but Cryptic just cuts him off, makes sure that door of opportunity is shut. As Phil, he gets a better run out of that turn on the back straight. He's going to get a better run the whole way down to the bus stop, especially the slipstream. The Cryptic's going to be picking up that slipstream from the front. He looks towards the move, thinks better of it, decides he's not going to go for it here. And he's going to wait just to re-pass Cornell on the straight. As much as the battle is entertaining for the stream, and from our point of view, it's going to be what we're loving to see. But I'd imagine the drivers on track are not going to be loving to see that, as that's going to be giving Sleek Mover just more and more time gain in front. But Jay Snowy now up in the P9, and check the leader interval. He's now 11 seconds behind. He is going to be getting a massive undercut on Sleek, but Cryptic has cleared Cornell again into the com. We'll go on board with Phil again, as Cornell has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Let's go back just to the interval time gaps, as there's actually a free car battle happening behind. There's a big moment there, as I've managed to get lost in the cars there for a second. Phil picking up scraps of Cornell having a big moment. I'd imagine Cornell's probably feeling the effects of the tire wear now. It's going to be interesting to see whether he's going to look to start pitting soon. A lot of these medium runners, I think all of the soft runners they've made their strategy stops. They've got their undercuts. But I'd imagine next couple of laps we're going to start to see some of the medium runners start to pit. And they will come out behind the soft runners that decide to undercut at the start, but what they will have at the end will be that tire advantage, which could be crucial in just getting over the line just before the other driver. But Phil, he has the overspeed, but I think he's playing a strategy call just to wait till the Camel straight. So I think he definitely had the pace to look for a move into the bus stop, but he's thinking better of it. As we now see the first of the medium runners come in, that's Cornell coming into the pits, and we're right on board to see what tyres he's going to go to. As he comes down to the Williams pit box right at the end of the pit lane. It's giving us all the anticipation, but it's going to be the hard compound of tyres for the rest of this race. Phil now all over the back of Sleek Cryptic. Phil's burning, he's got the DRS wide open, he's going to clear Cryptic quite comfortably. Cryptic, he's not going to tuck back in for slipstream. But these drivers are going to have to start reacting soon, as Artie Moreno has made up positions. He's got past Runnard. He's going to be starting to get past... Oh my, what a move from Snowy. He's picking up the strap of the cars in front. He's really cutting through that traffic. Last time I checked, I think it was the last lap, he's P9. That's up in the P5, and he is showing some really, really nice racecraft. Just cut through this traffic. It's like a hot knife through butter, as he gets up in the P4 now. He's demonstrating the grip of those mediums, but he's also just demonstrating how quick he really is. And he's picking his moments really, really well. And that's actually a joy to watch. As I think that's 3 positions in a matter of a sector. That's some exceptional driving from Jay Snowy in the Haas. I'd have to say he is closing that gap to Sleek in front now. It was 11 seconds. It's now down to 7.5. Sleek is going to have to push to his full extent on that new set of tyres he's going to take. Was looking front. There's no... I thought there was moves being made, there wasn't. And Sleek actually coming into the pits. I think he had a little bit of contact with Wallers. It looked like he ghosted. Sleek's actually lost 7 attempts to Phil. But Jay Snowy is going to retake this lead now. I'm just going to ride on board with Sleek to see where he's going to come out in the end. He's made that pit stop. He's gone for the soft compounded tyre, which it's a bold decision, because although he's going to have a really, really good pace advantage, I'm not too sure if these softs are really going to be viable at the end. Especially, he's going to try and go 8 laps on them. 8 laps and stuff, it's doable, but it won't necessarily be the quickest option, I think, once those softs start hitting the cliff, especially at a track like Spa, a track with really high tyre deg. I'm just not sure if he's going to be able to do it, but if there was anyone who was going to be able to manage the car as well, it would have to be Sleek. He's reigning champion from last season. But as we look behind, Cryptic has got past Dino Oaks. Dino Oaks still on the hards. I think he's just banking for a safety car at this point. But Dino's really not in a great position strategy-wise. We look in front. Charlie still out on the same set of hards. He is 6 tenths behind Artie. Artie's made up a really good amount of positions on that stint. He had a bit of misfortune in the earlier stages of the race, especially start of that first stint. He was getting caught up in a little bit of instance and is getting caught up in a lot of battling, but he's now starting to just get that back. As we look behind Phil, we've got this 4-car battle shaping up. Mini Martin, he is on older tyres. He's not got very much ARS, but I imagine he is going to try and still put up a bit of a defence for his teammate, who is currently looking to try and extend. He's not going to be able to stop Phil. Phil is just going to storm past him before the braking zone into the source. But Cornell is going to look to come back. Welcome back. He's going to put Mini Martin under pressure on the main straight. I think Phil is not going to have the DRS. Mini Martin will have the DRS, but I don't know if he's really going to have a close enough gap to be able to get up to Phil. 7 tenths behind. Cornell is nearly like fully drained his ERS battery. He comes up the inside. Mini Martin trying to just hang it around the outside. It's not able to do it. He just does not have enough grip left in their medium tyres. But it's a valiant effort nonetheless. But now that Cryptic into Rivage, he gets that move up the inside. And I imagine Mini Martin's going to have to look at hitting soon. He's just not able to match the grip of these cars in front. I think he is in desperate need of a fresh set of those Red Bull tyres. A Sleek mover now. After the hard runners made their pit stop last lap, Sleek is back up to 2. He's in 5.6 seconds behind Jay Snowy. Jay Snowy does have that 3 seconds. Just double check the penalties actually. As Mini Martin's the most, he's got 6 seconds. Phil's got 3. Jay Snowy's got 3. Both the half drivers might be just hindered by those track limit penalties come the end of the race. But Sleek Mover's taking loads and loads of time out of Jay Snowy at the moment. I think we could be seeing striking distance within the next 3 laps, as Sleek is just rapid on those Red Bull tyres. The thing is, as I said before, I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to maintain any sort of push on them at the end. I'd say they are going to die out quite a lot, just with how high the tyre deg is around here. As Cornell, that is, I'd imagine that might come up in the report, because I think he's played a little bit of DRS chicken, but I really don't think that was sportsmanlike nor safe, to be honest. He almost brake checked him. Buzz Dino Oaks has had a bit of a spin out of the source. He has wing damage, but look back at the battles in front. Cornell's down in P5. He's tried DRS trick, and I think he's actually messed up the DRS trick, as Cryptic was still able to maintain position. But it's Philo now, 4.3 behind Sleek. He's taking a little bit out of him. And we might be able to see Philo start to catch up to Sleek by the end, but I think that might rely on the battle between P1 and 2 being massive. And Artie Moreno is out. His car is still driving, so I think he's just AI retired. So I'd say that's probably going to end up being a penalty point for him, because you just can't do that. Unless he's DC'd, you can't be retiring on track like that. But as we go back to focusing on the battles in front, after the pit stops, we've got a lot more of a field spread than we did in the first stint. There's not as much action as there was, but you are still seeing some action. And now the drivers are really starting to play their strategy and just try and play their cards right. As Cornell, he's keeping the DRS, but I think he is struggling just a little bit now. Sleek Mover, 2.9 the gap between him now. And just he's within that 3-second time range. Sleek does not have to pass him on track. As it stands, that Sleek can literally sit in that 3-second gap and he's grand. But as we look behind, Mini Martin still, I think he's still in the same set of mediums. He's going to commit to bringing them in the end, but he's not going to be able to defend anyone behind. And he's going to be losing 2 positions this lap. Let's go 3 wide down the Kemmel Straight. Runnard is going to be the leading car, but he's going to be under pressure from Charlie Hart. And into the end of the Kemmel Straight, Charlie Hart closes the door, and that's going to be a massive move for Charlie Hart to race down the inside on Runnard. And that's up into P6. As Sleek, he's still gaining, but he's not gaining as much. Those softs are, I think, starting to hit that first cliff. And Sleek's actually lost a little bit to Phil. He's not really lost enough to the point where it looks like Phil is going to be worrying him at the end of the race, but it's still a massive amount. I'd imagine Sleek will not be pushing. He's going to be trying to reserve those tyres towards the end and just maintain that 3-second gap. I think he stayed out of trouble all race. He's not going to be under threat for penalties. And we have an instant behind, and that's going to be Mini Martin. I think he's just tried extending those medium tyres too long, and with lack of grip, he has found himself off into a wall. I think he has damage as well, but it didn't look like he'd broke his entire front wing. So hopefully his mechanics will change it, but as we know with the F123 game, they have a bit of a issue with when they decide to change the front wing. Every so often the mechanics decide they're going to go on strike. But yeah, as we look back to the front again, Sleek has now got the gap down to 1.9. He is slowly but surely taking chunks out of it, but what Sleek does not have anymore is that ERS advantage that he once had. He was holding, in the first stint, a massive ERS advantage over Jay Snowy. He's still gaining, but not as much. And you have to wonder, if he doesn't get the DRS, will those soft tyres start to fall off, and will he fall back a little bit from Jay Snowy, who is really going to have to try and just hope that Sleek makes a small mistake somewhere and gets a track limit warning. Because that 3 second at the moment looks like it's killing Jay Snowy. And speaking of 3 seconds, it's going to be another 3 second time penalty for the Haas driver in P3. This could be Phil's now on the 6 seconds. That's going to drop him back to almost P5. He's going to be P4. I'm not too sure about the gap with Charlie Hart. I think he's going to be maintaining P4 for now, but Cornell's going to be using that DRS. He's probably going to get in the penalty range with this battle. Is Cornell on the back of Cryptic? He's just been sitting comfortably for this second stint when he's meant to lose hards. He's using the DRS, and those hards will probably really come into play in the last sort of 2-3 laps. Actually, realistically, he's going to be looking at them coming into play around now in the next sort of lap and a half, where they're going to start to show their advantage over the tyres in front, as they're going to have a significant amount less on the percentage where. But Sleek 1.5 behind Snowy, neither driver burning. Both of them's trying to play a strategy as much as they can. Sleek is still pulling a little bit. I think those softs are officially starting to die off a bit. They've hit their cliff. as Sleek is pulling though on Phil, and behind Cornell has cleared Cryptic, and Mini Martin has DNF'd. As a VSC, I think that's the latest it could have been for safety cars. What has happened here? I think Mini Martin might have DNF'd in the pit lane. So it looks like his car has DNF'd and then been reset the track. But this VSC, I imagine, is not going to be what Jason always wanted. I think he is backing up a lot of Delta, so he's going to have that large amount of time just to accelerate into at the end of this VSC. 6 temps now, the gap between Snowy and Sleek Mover. That's really, actually, the VSC's ended and the gap's gone down to P5 as Jason always had a horrid VSC restart. And he's now going to be under pressure at DRS. That VSC would have given Sleek a little bit of an opportunity to make some small gains in terms of saving a little bit of tire wear from the soft tires, which obviously he's going to be feeling the effects of. But now, Sleek's going to be right at the back of him, and he's going to have the DRS. And I think Sleek has actually played the strategy perfectly today. As lap 20 now, we've got 2 more laps of racing. Turn 1, Sleek's going to be 6 temps back. As Jason, both drivers have been recharging. Neither of them wanting to burn any of their ERS. Sleek behind is burning, and he's going to be looking to try and get the move done on Snowy before the braking zone. As from now, the gap, 3 temps, is going to get the DRS wide open. Snowy's having a little bit of a weave in front of him, but he clears before the braking zone, and that Sleek Mover into the race lead with 2 laps of racing to go. And Jay Snowy is going to try and tag on to the back of him. And this, as I said, it's going to be a race-long battle. Both of these drivers just locked together. Even on the split strategies, we're just right back where we started. And it's just amazing to see 2 drivers going at it like this on track. And it's what we love to see every week, especially. But that Snowy's not going to be... He's already all over the rear diffuser, and I think Sleek is really feeling the effects of that tire wear. I don't think he's going to make a move in this last sector, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to try and see if Sleek has any warnings, because this could massively determine that battle. But Sleek has no warnings, so Sleek has actually executed a perfect race again. That's something we see quite often from him, and the Ferrari driver is good. As it stands, it looks like he's going to take home massive points for Scuderia, bar a massive incident happening. As Jason is going to look for that cut inside out of the dust up screen. He's not going to be able to make it work though. But with this battle in front, this is bringing Philo into the mix. Although Philo does have 6 seconds of time penalties, so unless he gets warnings removed, I don't think there's going to be much really happening in terms of position for Philo. Right now, he is going to be losing the position to Cryptic Pine. But Jay Snowy's going to come back up again, and on the penultimate lap, Jay Snowy's back into the lead. He's going to clear Sleek Mover. But the only thing is, with the weaving that Jay Snowy did last lap, actually has a little bit of a moment there as the rear starts to get away from him a little bit. He scoops it back up though. That's going to be 2 tenths now, the gap between him and Sleek as we enter Ravage. There's Cryptic over back Cornell. I'd imagine Cryptic doesn't need to make a send this lap, but I'd imagine for pride on track, he's going to try and get that move done. As the gap between Sleek and Snowy is 6 tenths. Sleek's burning a little bit to try and get that back down. I think Snowy was burning as well. Going to try and double check Snowy's warnings. That's 1, 2... 3. Actually, this could be really interesting because Snowy could be battling for a lead. He has 3 warnings, and judging by how hard he's fighting for this, I think he may or may not have a small shot at getting in and getting one of them removed. But the only thing that's really going to have a major implication now is the fact that he was weaving when Sleek was behind him. I'd imagine Sleek will probably report that. I mean, you can't really weave like that. You might try and argue he's breaking the toe or warming his tires, but I think Sleek will still probably try and argue his point to the stewards. As now we come down out of turn 1, Snowy does not get the greatest exit. Sleek's going to get that better run, but Snowy, the most important thing he's going to have is going to be the DRS. Oh, as a big moment out of Rouge, as great car control from Snowy, as this can be a massive moment as Snowy gets the DRS wide open. He's going to go down the outside. Sleek not going to be able to do anything into the com, but he might look for a bit of a cut in at Rivage. Snowy's not going to be letting that happen. He's getting all over the place in front of him. Snowy is giving it his all at the moment. You see he's leaving everything on track. And he's pushing to the max and is producing some really great entertainment for the screen. Honestly, I think we can safely say that wish every race was as entertaining as this one. Snowy in front's going to be, he's flashing. Sleek's going to have 30% ERS, he's going to have about 20% more coming on the back straight, but Snowy's actually got a fuel light. Is Snowy going to run out of fuel before the final corner? Bugs has been disqualified for using the wrong tyre compounds, but I think he was a while back anyway, so it's not really hamper his effect too much. As Snake gets up the inside for a lead. Actually didn't even notice that. He's been approached so fast. As Snowy, he's not going to be able to look for anything. He tries breaking it. Oh, big rear lock. And Snake's going to be able to take the checkered flag. And that's going to be Snake in the P1 for Scuderia. And Snake Mover wins the Spa Grand Prix. What a race and what a battle between these top two drivers. I don't know, I was going to have to catch a breath there. That move from Snake at the end, I didn't even see Snake coming. Like, he just appeared on the inside, even like the mirrors, you could not see him at all. What a race. Tier 1 take a bar. Like, oh my. As a matter, there's going to be some incidents that are going to come up in the steers. But I think for the most part, especially compared to previous races we've seen at Spa, it was relatively clean. And but we're going to try and do something different this week, especially after a race like that. We'll see if we can get a post-race interview with the man himself, Sleek Mover. It's going to be interesting to hear his thoughts after a race like that. That was just entertainment from start to finish. And what a race. Like, that was absolute madness to the end. I think we're going to see Sleek Mover's going to come into the party. We're going to get that interview. Bonsoir. I think Sleek is going to join soon, but that's going to have massive implications now for the championship battle itself. Ronard, I think, was only able to get P7. Hello. Have you got your mic plugged in, lad? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to turn on the settings for you to include your audio here, but what a race. That was absolutely rapid from yourself. Like, what was the thought process at the end, especially with strategy? It's interesting. What was your thoughts going through that race?
I can't lie, it was just more of a relaxing race, even though it didn't look like it on a screen. Me and Snowy just wanted to have a nice little cheeky battle at the end there, give something to fans to look at. But yeah, I was just really comfortable, really composed. Just really wanted to push on the softs after pitting.
Coming in from the pit stops, you were absolutely blitzing everyone on the softs. But more importantly, from that race, you're now going to be in the lead of the championship. So how are you feeling going into the rest of the season now, especially with the next run of tracks?
I'm feeling very confident as the next few tracks are one of my favorites, and I think this is Belgium here is one of my favorites as well. So it's really good to get a perfect weekend, pole, fastest lap, and the win. And we move on. We're trying to keep our momentum and yeah, just gonna keep the mentality the same as well.
Throughout this, throughout this was just some. I think that battle you and Snowy put on the day is genuinely one of the most entertaining battles that we've had this season. Actually, might be up there for battle of the season. And
Yeah, it was really
on contrast to what we seen yesterday, I think that is much more preferable,
yeah,
especially for the league's point of view.
it was just a split second decision. We just said we'll keep it nice and respectful, no DRS tricks. Going into the final lap, we wanted to give something for the fans, of course. Our team principal wasn't very fond of our battle. He was on the edge, but we kept it nice and clean. And
I can only imagine he was having some words.
oh, he was having multiple words, mate. Some that I cannot repeat. But yeah, it was just fun to do that. Great weekend, and we'll just move on to the next.
Well, cheers for coming in. That was
Yep.
it was good to get some insight, especially after a race like that, because you can clearly see from the start you had that just planned out and it was executed to perfection. Especially once Snowy had pit, it was pretty evident you were just in control from that point.
Yeah, it was. I knew he would get the undercut on me, but I just knew the softs would. I didn't think they'd be that quick, but I just thought they would be actually enough to at least get in the 3 second window. But they were enough to actually catch up to him. So I was really proud of that, proud of the setup as well. Yeah, the teamwork we had as well to get away from um, the rest of the academies at the start. That was really crucial as well. So that played a big part into the win.
So I'd imagine as well after Merck Academy I think pulled a little bit of the points back yesterday. That's could be a lot of the points you and Snowy have just pulled back today, especially with Phil as well. I think his penalties might have dropped in P5, but even then, it's still going to be massive points in that academy battle.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of points coming from. Actually, I think Dallo's going to get his penalty removed, but so with that penalty being removed, it's going to be a lot more points than almost like a perfect weekend for us. We did miss a few drivers like Tom and side effects, but we made up for it. We've done some damage limitation and actually brought it back to a reasonable battle.
You say Phil's going to try and get it removed. What actually happened for the penalty then? Because
From his
was it a
words,
straight 3 second or?
the warnings came from getting pushed off track. So that's the words he's told me. But we will have to see through stewarding. But nonetheless, it was a great result.
Yeah, I think he obviously had the 6 seconds at the end. I think even if he was to get 3 of those removed,
Yeah, I think he's only going to get 3 of them.
I think he still I think he still maintains position because Cryptic behind I think was still in that 3 second gap. Obviously, I might be wrong because I was a bit preoccupied on that last sort of lap to pay attention to the gaps.
We'll see.
Lap, did you go onto the grass?
Yes, I did quite a few times. It was something subconscious, but it was just in the moment.
When you pulled the lead out at Blanchimont there, so on the stream, I hadn't actually ridden on board. I wasn't on board with you, which I probably should have been, but I didn't even see you in his rears or his rear view mirrors or nothing. It's just all of a sudden all I see is this Ferrari on the grass, just absolutely sending it past.
Yeah, the setup I had was quite good. I was really confident in it. The front end was amazing, and the rear wings were just a rocket ship. So it was just amazing. It's just a nice feeling, like Max Verstappen.
Well, there was definitely seeming like Max Verstappen with the way you're going this season.
That's just trying to keep that mentality and trying to pull the championship leads so it's comfortable.
Cheers for coming in. I think this is going to be the end of the stream now. As we be back again, I'll actually have to double check what track we're at next week.
Portugal?
Is it Portugal?
Let me check.
Yeah, it is Portugal.
Nice.
Yeah, that should be an interesting one because I think a lot of people don't like Portugal.
It's
probably gonna be a lot more of a pace split than normal.
It's one of my strong tracks. Actually, starting from China all the way to Brazil. Those are one of my favorite tracks. Yeah, so feeling quite confident.
Yeah, that should be the end of the stream, and we'll be back next week.
Goodbye, all.